Each year, Jehovah's Witnesses hold conventions around the world in hundreds of languages. Those in attendance learn how the Bible can benefit them in practical ways. Our 3-day conventions include Bible.
Welcome back. We don't want to watch too much of that. We all know what a 3-day convention is about. We're going to talk about the 2025 convention. It's not how they advertise it on their website, what these conventions are about. This convention is very cunningly put together to combat their ongoing problem and the rise in the ongoing problem with apostates, people that stand up and speak out against the organization. So that's what we're doing on this channel. We have been doing it for almost 3 years, and we will continue to do it. And there's a lot of channels out there that have been running for 12 years or more, talking about it. But not only talking about it, helping the broken-hearted ones, the lost sheep of the Jehovah's Witness religion. Something that Jesus was doing in his day. He was looking for the lost sheep of the Jewish religious system of things. People that were broken-hearted, torn up by all the rules, all the laws, all the strict rules that the Pharisees put upon the people. It is just like what JW.org and their elders are doing to their people. So if you've ever been in a congregation, I've been in 5 or 6, and I've noticed that the elders are pharisaical. They get together, and they don't, it's not because they're bad people. You know, if you're an elder, you're not a bad people, but it's pharisaical, and you have to admit, if you follow the Shepherding the Flock Elders book, it's pharisaical. That Elders book is so pharisaical. In fact, the first part of the Elders book says, obey the governing body over anything else. It's right in the letter to the elders. So then you take that and you say, okay, well, this is the religion I'm in. I'm following men over everything else. And now we have joined a cult. So it's in the fine print. It's in the writing. But to tell someone that's in, they're not going to see it. They're not going to see it that easily. But what if someone is in, you're a Jehovah's Witness, you're in, you're on the internet, you see some information, even on the news, and it's negative. Everything about Jehovah's Witnesses is negative. There's so many cover-ups. The child abuse thing just went out of this world. It's worse than the Catholic Church per capita. Because now you don't have just one minister in a church. You have a congregation of ministers, ordained ministers. And they're out with the kids out in the service. There's a way more intermixing with people in a JW religion than any other religion out there that I know of. Unsupervised. And these people are not vetted, these elders. They're not vetted criminal records to see if they already have existing charges. And then when something shows up, they cover it up because they do not want to be like the Catholic Church, because they've spent 100 years labeling them as the bad ones. And now their religion on the news is worse. You see, so if you find out something like this, or let's say you're on the news and you find out that Philip Brumley, the lawyer that Jehovah's Witnesses have exonerated, in fact, the July 2025 study edition has a whole section on Philip Brumley, what a wonderful lawyer he is. But you see, to all of you Jehovah's Witnesses in there, you won't believe the news. He was sanctioned in Montana for lying. He had to pay $154,000. He was a scapegoat for Watchtower. Watchtower is actually the liar. Well, of course they have to put Brumley on high. He gave up his whole career for Watchtower. He was sanctioned. He had to pay $154,000, or Watchtower had to pay it, because he signed as a lawyer that they did not do business in Montana, among a lot of other lies in that court case if you followed it. that Watchtower does not do business in Montana so they could get out of paying its CSA lawsuits. You see, if you watch some of that, and if you see Philip Brumley's appeal, I just did a video on it. It's the voice of what's going on in court. You can look at the video, it's out there. But his lawyers got up and they questioned the judicial system. Well, you used to allow lies. Why aren't you allowing us to lie? And the judge got up and said, we expect more out of you lawyers. And they dismissed the court. It's about 20 minutes. It's a good watch. But it's Philip Brumley fighting to become a lawyer again. There's some good lawyers out there. I'm not going to paint you all as liars. But Philip Brumley is the top of the king for liars and lawyers. Lawyers and liars. So don't you kid yourself. You're going to see that on the news. So what if you see this stuff on the news? What happens? How is JW.org going to control your brain? Control the narrative? Well, that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at how they control the narrative. There's a lot we can unpack here. But I'm going to go to this. You can check out Philip Brumley here, the Brumley Files. It's my latest video. It's 3 days ago. I'll pin it to the end of this video. We're going to take a quick look at, and this is what inspired me to make this video, by the way. Miss Usato wrote this article, a great article. And they spent hours at Avoid going through all the assembly clips. And you can find all the assembly clips on AvoidJW. You just go to AvoidJW. It's right on the homepage. There's about 100 clips. We downloaded them all. So I'm going through them. We're going to play you guys a few today. So you'll be able to see what's happening. Okay, so I'm going to just blow this up a bit. We'll take a quick look at this. This assembly is hitting the headlines of all the apostates and people that are leaving, people that are inside, and they have questions. Maybe they have questions on Philip Brumley. They're afraid to ask. After this assembly, you don't ask. If you ask, you are labeled as satanic. And you see, that's how they got me out. They labeled me as demonized. They just up and label you. Like there's no criteria. There's no vetting. It's just one guy says, yeah, he's demonized. And he's an elder, so they believe him. Because they asked me, are you coming back? And I said, no, I'm not going back. So you must be demonized because you're not going back to their religion. You see, so this has to stop, folks. I believe stuff like this has to stop legally. Legally, this is so bad, so wrong. But we're just going to show you guys as the public, if anybody out there, forward these videos to people that are in law, people that are running the country, people that run charity organizations that have a say. These types of videos have to get out to show how Jehovah's Witnesses label the public. So AvoidJW, they did a really good breakdown. We're going to pin this in this video description. We're going to get into the actual convention here pretty quick. But some of the stuff they dug up, AvoidJW, like mentally diseased, this is what they call apostates, despicable. Like Satan, they are slanderers. They're wicked, false brothers. You know, so if you question Brumley, hey, Brumley was sanctioned, you now become an apostate. So that's why people don't even want to ask questions in this religion. They describe apostates as dangerous thinkers, gangrene, poisonous and venomous, haters of the truth. And there's instructions on how to deal with apostates. You keep away from them. You avoid them like the plague. You do not even say a greeting to them. You know, we do not speak, and this is all Watchtower materials, like the Watchtower July 15th, it says, we do not speak with apostates or greet them. So this becomes their rule book. Warnings and fear-inducing labels, agents of Satan, deluded, rebellious, treacherous and traitors, ravenous wolves. And JW broadcast in modern language is twisted thinkers, slick and seductive, loyalty testers from Satan. So here's some clips from the convention right on Miss Usato's site. Let's just take a look at this one. See if it comes up. Didn't come up. The site's really busy, so if you're trying to click on some of these videos, they may not come up. They may or may not come up. I kind of have a peasant view here, so peasant view internet. It's not the fastest. But I do have the videos. I do have the talk. I'm going to show you that in a second. So I did pull that from our downloads. So yeah, there's a lot of information to unpack here. The power of coercing what you view, the power of language in shaping perception, the power of guilt for attention seeking, the power of persuasion, do not focus on yourself, the power of giving it all up. Governing body, Brother Let discusses joining SKE. Sunday morning, Let says since 2014, this 2-month school for the Kingdom Evangelizers has helped pursue further kingdom interests. He then goes into how others hold back from joining. He asks why. He says the governing body understands it's not easy to uproot into the unknown, but before you dismiss, we, the governing body, warmly invite you to prayerfully consider making yourself available to Jehovah for this training and to expand your service. Don't let the unknown hold you back. You don't want to miss out. If your heart moves you to reach out to SKE, you will be the you'll see firsthand how Jehovah will care for you. No matter what your circumstances may be, if you trust in Jehovah, he will clear the way for you. Former obstacles, fears will be pushed aside, replaced with new friends and unimaginable joys. Why? Because Jehovah will go out before you. So this is what Stephen Lett says, giving it all up. Just go for it. And you know, folks, we've done so many videos. People serve their whole lives in Bethel, missionaries. And I've even experienced this. I helped fund a couple at my work when I had my company. And every year we'd send them to Bolivia or something like that. We'd pay for their airfares there and back. That was our contribution. And the sister was my bookkeeper. And she was really good at it. So every year I'd let her, she'd come back and she'd audit my books. And she'd always have people working under her, basically. That was the deal. So we paid her well. But they served and served and served and told so many experiences of all these congregations they started. And the husband got sick there on the job because of, in a foreign land, Canadians can pick up bacteria that their bodies can't handle, can't deal with it. Well, he picked up a bad bacteria, he couldn't deal with it. It shut his kidneys down, it shut his bowels down. He was on bags and so forth. And they came home and she was just beside herself. The Watchtower gave her no help. We flew her back and I gave her extra compensation through the work to help her out. But the Watchtower gave them squat. That's a personal experience. So I know, folks, these people that work their lives in Bethel, like Let lives in a mansion, always will. He's a millionaire, folks. We've done videos on him. This is a two-faced organization. Let's two-faced. Let's put it that way. Okay, so here's the convention. Right here, Friday. We're going to go Friday morning all the way down to the afternoon. We're going to look at this symposium, Imitate Jesus, the Big Tempter. And where is that? So just give me a second and I'll pull up that video. Okay, so here we are, Friday sessions. Here's all of the videos, folks, for Friday. All the videos. My good wife downloaded them all, one by one. Here's Saturday session, all the videos for Saturday. This is all the brainwashing that you'll get at an assembly this year. And Sunday, I had it in big view there. There's all the videos, a little less for Sunday because they get out early. So, folks, for those of you who are apostates going through all of this, like Miss Usato, AvoidJW, really, we want to give you guys a big thumbs up for combing through all of those videos for us, making it easy for us on the outside. Maybe we're questioning things. Maybe you have seen some news out there that's really, it's real news. It's real. You've seen it in so many different places. These are courts. Brumley himself, that would wake me up. A lot of you guys got woke up with the ARC, the Australian Commission. This Brumley thing, this just blows me sideways, what this guy is doing and how JW.org exonerates him. So, you got to be the decision maker here. This is an organization that's hurting, and that's why they're playing these videos. So let's go to Friday here again, and we're going to find that video. Just give me a second. Okay, so this is the video here. We'll just fast forward it here to a little bit of the main speaker here.
Truth. Bible truth.
One of the difficulties I have with this talk is he's talking about Satan, and he's comparing Satan to all the apostates out there. And he's quoting the scriptures accurately in how he's describing it. Satan's the father of the lie, and Satan's the first apostate. That's how he's pitching this. So there's really about Satan, but yet I know, you see, once you get out, you know that these guys are lying in court. Like, they're really lying in court. And you can even see it on their own website if you have the eyes to see it. If you look at the Canadian Supreme Court case on there, Brumley, he's labeled as the guy, but Gnam, G-N-A-M, Gnam was the lawyer for JW.org. I believe he passed away, so they had to put Brumley in there on their website, and they made this whole Supreme Court in Canada look like Brumley did it. But it was Gnam, he was the lawyer in there talking, and he told the Supreme Court that disfellowshipping, it's not a big deal. You can carry on normal associations with your family if you're disfellowshipped, inside and out, long as it's not spiritual. He said, for an example, you can say a greeting when they come to the hall. Or even, we go and visit them, and our whole goal is to get them back in. And he's really bouncy like that. That's how he talks. But you can see all the lies in there, because you and I know that you cannot have normal associations once you leave, once you disassociate yourself. You see, and the Supreme Court case was about an individual who did some things that were obviously wrong. There's a whole list of them: drunkenness, fornication. They have this whole list. But I think it fell under fornication. Correct me if I'm wrong. Most of them do. So he goes to the Supreme Court, and they just paint him as a bad guy, an evil guy, and that's what they do. But what about all the thousands upon thousands of us that walk out? What about that? What about the thousands and thousands of us that walk out? Or we walk out because our mate is too loyal. They're actually having sexual intercourse with the elders, ministerial servants, stuff like that. What if we walk out? We've had enough. You see, then we're labeled, because we're disassociated, we're labeled as Satan. They label us as Satan because we've had enough of the organization. Well, let's listen to him for a bit, and then we're going to show you a video and really how they're being real about this. This is what you're gonna see stuff on the internet. You're gonna see stuff on the news. It's all Satan. That's how they're writing this all off, folks. And they're introducing it right here. I'm gonna show it to you. You have to see this to see. My wife was listening to some of this from the background. She couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe what she was hearing as a person outside of this organization. That it goes to this level of coercion, folks. This has to be illegal. It has to be. But anyways, I'm gonna leave this up to you. And when you listen to this, you know that this is Satan's agents that are speaking to us. These are agents of Satan because they know how to lie in court, lie about criminal activity that they've covered up for decades and decades, and now they just can't afford to pay out the lawsuit, so they just have to lie and lie and lie. And now they want to talk to you and I about lying? Well, I don't think so. But we're going to listen to this Satan's angel here. And remember, Corinthians talks about these. as angels of light. This is Satan's angel telling us we're Satan. And that's what a true narcissist does, folks. They take the facts and they twist it and they flip it right back at you. And this is what these guys are doing. They're masters of deceit. So here we go.
In fact, Satan is the chief proponent of untruth. If we look back here in verse 44, it says that when he speaks the lie, he speaks according to his own disposition because he is a liar. Satan is one full of deceit. He spreads misinformation. In fact, Satan is the foremost apostate. Now, what he did there in the Garden of Eden in deceiving Eve, what he did in the wilderness trying to undermine truth and tempt Jesus, he is still doing the same thing today. Now, when it comes to his crafty acts, although he does not approach us and directly approach us, as he did Jesus in the wilderness, how does he try to influence us, to undermine truth, to get us to make choices contrary to Jehovah's standards? Well, he does so by using something that we are all exposed to. He uses mass media communication, constant news feeds, social media platforms, the internet, discussion forums, television shows, all to influence our thinking to get us to abandon truth.
Imagine being in the audience watching this, and you're in the audience. You actually, you just threw $100 into their contribution box. A lot of people do that. I had in my comments, one guy said he just not too long ago, he was in the assembly, he threw in $500. So we know that this organization is raking in a lot of money by not having seat coverage, by not charging an entrance fee like other organizations do. This organization all the way through makes you feel guilty if you're not going into debt, financing your house and throwing in $500. Money you don't have. And that's what this organization's good at. Now, I kind of got on a rant there, but let's talk about this, what he just said about the media, the mass media. So all of you newspaper companies out there, according to JW.org, unless it suits them, because they do quote you guys, but unless it doesn't suit them their way, if you talk bad against them, you are Satan. If you talk bad about God's true organization on earth, you are Satan. You see, and that's how they're pitching this to their people. We're God's true organization. This is Satan. You got to, if you're a JW, you got to take him for face value. You can't research this guy. You can't research JW.org because you got to take it for face value that they're God's true organization. If you leave it, you are joining Satan. Let's just hear this again. This just drives me nuts.
Constant news feeds, social media platforms, the internet, discussion forums, television shows, all to influence our thinking to get us to abandon truth. But what else does Satan use? He uses his wicked agents, opposers and apostates, to spread seeds of doubt, to spread misinformation. But when it comes to these seeds of doubt that's spread by Satan's wicked agents, opposers, and apostates, these seeds are very insidious. They're like an invisible, poisonous, odorless gas that seeps into the consciousness of mankind, and if we're not careful, we can fail to see it for what it is.
Okay, we won't go with any more of that. We're going to move forward into their drama, and then you can see it's through these movie dramas, that's where they're really programming the people. So here we go. Okay, so he's going to ask the question, what if someone in your circle of friends is listening to the news out there? So you're JW, you have your circle of friends, you go out in service, you go out in the ministry, you talk about things. And it's not always positive. I was a pioneer going out with elders and talking lots of negative things about lots of other elders. So it's not always positive, let me tell you. So you're out there. It's a gossip time, this service ministry. Just talk about people. Elevate yourself. You're out in the ministry or you're righteous, and they're not. They're working full time. They got to be careful because Satan has a hold of them. They're working full time. This is the kind of nonsense, folks, that goes on in these car groups in the ministry. So now this guy's going to tell us, when you're out and someone is looking at the news media, oh, you better deal with it. Folks, this is coercion. This is control. They're controlling their narrative. They don't want you to believe what's really going on behind closed doors of this corrupt, lying religion. That's what they don't want you to find out, because you'd quit immediately. So here's the kind of stuff that they throw at you and they're doing at this assembly. So let's listen in.
Suppose someone that you know or that you are close to, they begin to grasp and cling to the misinformation or the bad teachings of apostates, and then they want to share it with you. What would you do? Well, to answer that, please give your attention to the following dramatization.
Bethel's nice, but you have to think about your future.
If people could hear your truth, you would be an encouragement to so many people.
When I was your age, they told me all the time that the end could come tomorrow. But look at us. We're still here, and we've been able to make it.
What's wrong?
I'm worried about them. They're different.
Yeah. I kind of felt that too.
You know, whenever I ask him how things going in their congregation, he won't give me a straight answer.
Really?
And he's always shifting the conversation to something negative about the organization.
How? What are you gonna do?
I don't know. But I sure hope I'm wrong.
Hey, Justin, I want you to read this article I just sent you. It's gonna change the way you see the organization. Get back to me. Did you get that message I sent you?
Why would you send that to me? Better yet, why are you reading that garbage? It's all lies.
Garbage? How do you know if it's garbage if you haven't even read it?
Listen, you need to talk with your elders, because you need help. And if you don't speak to them, I will.
Wow, that's what you feel. I need help. I don't need any help, man. I'm finding the answers to my questions, bro, and I'm keeping an open mind.
Open mind? You're ignoring Jehovah's thinking. The truth saved our lives.
Look, man, how long have we known each other? I would never steer you wrong. I'm not out to hurt you. I'm trying to help you. How long have you known me?
Tell these stones to become loaves of bread.
I'm trying to share with you the truth.
Throw yourself down.
Do you really think I would steer you wrong?
I will give you all this authority.
I definitely don't need any help from them.
Do an act of worship before me. Go away, Satan!
Stop.
Okay. This is pretty thick. They've labeled... So what they've done here, this is just all actors, right? They're all JWs acting. But if you take an opposite view of the Watchtower, didn't even say the Bible. If you take an opposite view of the organization, you are labeled as Satan. Satan tempting Jesus. And here this guy, all he wants to do is maybe share the story of Brumley with this JW friend of his. Maybe it's his brother, I don't know. But he wants to share the story. Show him the clips, show him the news thing, the court transcripts. If you JWs don't believe this, you could go down to court and watch some of this stuff. A lot in Norway did. They seen what happened. And the Jehovah's Witnesses ganged up in Norway. They were like animals. They came in and took all the seats, the Jehovah's Witnesses, so that the ex-Jehovah's Witnesses couldn't have a seat. I think they rectified that. But that was noticed by the newspapers, Jehovah's Witnesses. You guys are animals. You're treating the world like they're Satan. That's demented. This is the most demented video that I've ever seen on your organization regarding this stuff. How you're like, this is just ongoing. So anyways, let's listen to a little bit more, and you're going to see how the angels appear to the JW. Like, this is just so Disney World ass backwards. Like, it's not Disney World because they're usually positive, but this is bad. So here it is.
There's only one truth, and it comes from Jehovah.
You're gonna walk away like that? What are you so afraid of? Man, stop being a coward.
Don't be weak. They're just telling you what you need to do. You need to think for yourself. For it is written, it is Jehovah your God you must worship.
Yeah, I remember all these stories. It's the same thinking that they've had for decades, the Jehovah's Witnesses. Now what they've done is they've taken it into a movie theater, movie studios. These illustrations are, well, they're professionally done. And the music behind it, everything, there's a lot of art that goes into manipulation and how to manipulate people. And so what it does, this movie, it gives the Jehovah's Witness, like him, that's who you want to be. You're going to drive away and you're going to feel elevated. And you do. You get an elevated feeling because you're self-exonerating yourself. You're putting yourself above anybody else. You're not going to open your ears up, your mind up to listen to anything against the Watchtower. His friend was pleading with him. Just look at the Brumley case. Look at the Australian Ark. This is all real, folks. Jeffrey Jackson doesn't believe that you guys have the truth. He said it'd be presumptuous. These statements do not go away. So JW.org, they play with you like this, just like in the video here. It's a high. You get put on this high. You're drugged, and it's like a drugged feeling. So that's all I have for you today on these clips, folks, on this assembly, on how they're coercing you to view apostate information. So it's any information out there that is revealing what's going on in the behind closed doors of JW.org. Anything out there that exposes them is demonic. And that's what they're pitching with this assembly to their people. So it'll be interesting to see how you guys accept these statements, how you guys accept this manipulation. So you guys tell me. We'll look at the thumbnail here again. Let me get that up. Thumbnail. Pure worship or pure control. The 2025 convention exposed. So you tell me in the comments, folks, and we'll keep these coming. We're going to look over some more of these clips and see what else we can dig out to alert people, help people. It's a public service to help you guys not get sucked in and not to be throwing money into that contribution box to support $1 trillion organization that covers up crimes of child abuse and has their main lawyer sanctioned for lying and vexation, legal vexation, vexating the court with lies and stretching it out so it gets thrown out of court, but it didn't. Their lies are getting turned over in the court system. And the governing body themselves are summoned to a deposition about CSA cover-up. So we'll find out soon what's going to happen, folks. But until then, keep living your life with love. It always works. It always works. We'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.